Once again, welcome dear students to the engineering chemistry course. Now, today we are starting with the next unit. But before starting the next unit, just the recap what we have learned till date. In our previous class, we have finished the second unit, organic fuels. We have completed this unit in our previous class. This unit basically covers four major topics, which includes solid fuels. In the solid fuel, we have discussed about coke and coal in detail, and also we have determined the calorific value of different types of fuel by various methods. Then we have started with the liquid fuel, in which we learned the mining and refining process of the petroleum. Then we learned about the synthetic petrol and the cracking process. Octane number and the cetane value we have also discussed. Then we have started with the gaseous fuels, in which various types of gaseous fuels we have discussed in detail. And at last we discussed the combustion based numericals, in which we learn to calculate the amount of oxygen required for complete combustion of any type of fuel, amount of air required, and calculation of the dry products of combustion. That's all about the second unit, which we have completed in our last lecture. So today we are going to start with the unit third, corrosion. In this unit, in today's lecture, we will cover the introduction part of this chapter, then disadvantages of corrosion and theories of corrosion, in which two theories which we cover in today's lecture are acid attack theory and the chemical attack theory. So let us begin with the unit third, corrosion. In this unit, we will cover the following topics: introduction or definition of corrosion, disadvantages of corrosion, various theories given for the explanation, the mechanism of the corrosion. These theories are chemical attack theory, acid theory, chemical attack theory, and the electrochemical theory. Then factors affecting corrosion, types of corrosion, and the corrosion prevention methods we will discuss in this unit. So let us begin with the topic introduction, or what corrosion is. What is the corrosion? Basically, any process of deterioration or destruction and consequent loss of a solid metallic material through an unwanted chemical or electrochemical attack by its environment at its surface is called corrosion. So basically, corrosion is the unwanted chemical reaction due to which the metal converted into its oxide or its compound. So basically, what we are going to discuss in this chapter, any unwanted reaction in which the metal converted into its oxide or any type of its compound, maybe it's oxide or any stable compound. So, but two things are here are very important, that these types of reactions are always exothermic reaction. Exothermic means large amount of heat energy may evolve in these type of reaction. Secondly, these reactions are always the unwanted reactions. Clear? So if we convert in our laboratory, we want to prepare some metal oxide by this type of reaction. Metal reacted with the oxygen, suppose in presence of oxygen, converted into metallic oxide. If we prepare metallic oxide in our laboratory, then this is not the corrosion reaction, because here our aim is to prepare the metallic oxide, while in such case where the metal undergoes in oxidation reaction, unwantedly, then this reaction comes under the category of the corrosion. So I hope it must be clear that conversion of metal, pure metal, into its compound or its oxide unwantedly, called as the corrosion reaction. So I am again repeating the definition. The corrosion is any process of deterioration or destruction of a solid metal through unwanted chemical or electrochemical reaction by its environment is called the corrosion reaction. So it is the just reverse process of the metal extraction process. In the metal extraction, you know very well that metal is extracted from its compounds, while in the corrosion process metal get converted into its compounds. So both the processes are the just reverse process. In metal extraction we have to supply the energy, while in corrosion heat energy is evolved. So these are the just reverse process of each other. Now, example of corrosion: rusting of iron. When iron is exposed to an atmospheric condition, a layer of reddish brown scale or brown colored powder is formed. This is the example of the rusting of iron. Similarly, a green color layer or green color film is formed on the surface of the copper metal. This is the example of the corrosion of copper. Why this green color is formed? Due to the corrosion of the copper, the surface is get converted into the basic carbonates. So the green color film is the basic carbonate films. So this is the example of the corrosion of the copper metal. Now, what are the disadvantages of corrosion? The process of corrosion is very slow and occurs only at the surface of metal, but the losses incurred are enormous. Destruction of machines, equipments, building materials and different types of metallic products, structures, etc. Thus, the loss incurred are very huge, and it is estimated that the losses due to corrosion are approximately 2 to 2.5 billion per year worldwide. So this is the great loss. Now, coming towards the next topic, that is the theories of corrosion. To explain the mechanism of corrosion or to explain the reason of corrosion, three types of theories have been given. These theories are acid attack theory. This is the first theory given to explain the corrosion of iron. Second is the chemical attack theory, which is called the dry corrosion, which explains the corrosion in absence of moisture. Third one is the advanced theory, which is called the electrochemical theory, and it is also known as the wet corrosion. So let us discuss one by one. First is the acid attack theory. This theory suggests that the corrosion of metal, basically mainly it considered the iron metal. So according to this theory, corrosion of iron is due to the presence of acid surrounds in its surrounding. And how these acids are come? Basically, some acidic oxide gases are present in the environment, like carbon dioxide, sulfur oxides and the nitrogen oxides. When these acidic oxides present in the surrounding of metal surface, these acidic oxides reacts with the moisture present in the environment and form the corresponding acid. For example, carbon dioxide reacts with the H2O to form the carbonic acid. And in presence of acids, the metal surface undergoes in corrosion. Carbon dioxide form carbonic acid, sulfur dioxide forms sulfuric acid, nitrogen oxides form nitric acid. So basically, these acidic oxide gases reacts with the moisture and generate the corresponding acids, and these acids are considered as the main cause of the corrosion. So in the acid attack theory, some acidic oxide gases forms acids with the reaction of the moisture in the environment, and due to these acids the metal undergoes in corrosion. For example, here the example is shown of the corrosion of iron in presence of carbon dioxide. In presence of carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide form carbonic acid with the reaction of the moisture, and this carbonic acid attacks on the iron surface, and slowly it starts the corrosion of the iron surface metal, and finally at the metal surface iron rust is formed. This is the iron rust. So the main point in this reaction is it explains the corrosion in presence of moisture. If moisture is not there, then acid is not formed, and if acids are not formed, then corrosion would not be take place. So this theory considered the acids as a main cause of the corrosion, and these acids are formed by the reaction of the moisture and acidic oxide gases. So this is the very primitive theory to explain the corrosion, in which corrosion of metal takes place due to the presence of acids in its surroundings. But the main drawback of this theory is this theory cannot explain the corrosion in absence of moisture. Why? Because in absence of moisture acids will not be formed, and if acids are not formed, then according to this theory corrosion would not be takes place. So the main drawback of this theory that it cannot explain the corrosion where moisture is absent. So to overcome this drawback, we come to the next theory, that is the chemical attack theory, which is also called the dry corrosion. Why it is called the dry corrosion? Because it explains the corrosion in absence of moisture too. So according to this theory, corrosion of metal is due to the direct reaction of atmospheric gases like oxygen, halogens, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, hydrogen sulfide, and fumes of some chemicals with the metal. So according to this theory, some chemicals directly attack onto the metal surface in absence of moisture, and since these can directly attack on metal surface, so metal react with these substances or these compounds and get corroded. In such cases, the extent of corrosion of a particular metal depends on the chemical affinity of the metal towards the reactive gases. Oxygen is mainly responsible for the corrosion of most metallic substances when compared to other gases and the chemicals. So what the chemical attack theory explains? According to chemical attack theory, some atmospheric gases directly attack onto the metal surface in absence of moisture too. So these gases can corrode the metal surfaces, and the extent of corrosion depends upon the chemical affinity between the metal and the surrounding gases. Generally, mostly metals get corroded in presence of the oxygen rather than the some other gases and chemicals, because the reactivity of the metals toward oxygen is much higher. Therefore, in presence of oxygen, metals get corroded. So on the basis of the attacking gas or the reacting species, the dry corrosion or the chemical attack corrosion is of three types: oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases, and the liquid metal corrosion. So first we will start with the oxidation corrosion. The oxidation corrosion occurs due to the direct attack of oxygen onto the metal surface. This type of corrosion takes place in absence of the moisture, and it increases at the rate of corrosion increases when temperature is increases. So main thing is that in absence of moisture, oxygen can directly attack onto the metal surface and the metal surface corroded. So what reaction taking place here? Look at here. This is the metal surface. This is complete metal and this is the metal surface. If this metal is reacted towards the oxygen, then when this metal comes in contact with the oxygen, the surface metal atoms undergoes oxidation and metal converted into metallic cation and electrons are released due to the oxidation reaction. Now, the electron release on the metal surface consumes the oxygen. So now onto the metal surface, this atmospheric oxygen consumes these electrons which are released by the oxidation of the metal. So these electrons are consumed by the oxygen and oxygen get converted into the oxide ion O-2 oxide ion. So near the metal surface there would be two types of ion. First is the metallic cation which are formed due to the oxidation of metal. Suppose this type of metallic cation are present here, and above the metal surface there will be the oxide ions which are the anions. So these anions, these are the anions and these are the cations. Both are having the opposite charges, so both attracts each other and move towards the each other. Oxide ion moves towards the metal surface while metallic ion moves outwards from the metal surface, and ultimately both these ions reacted to form the metallic oxide. Metallic cation reacted with the oxide ion to form the metallic oxide, and there would be the formation of the metallic oxide layer onto the metal surface. Like in this way, metal surface is now covered with the metal oxide layer. This is the example of the corrosion of the metal in presence of the oxygen. So after the corrosion of the first layer of metal surface, there will be the formation of the metal oxide layer. So further corrosion depends upon the nature of the metal oxide formed. So this metal oxide layer may be stable, unstable, volatile or the porous layer. So further corrosion depends upon the nature of the oxide layer formed onto the metal surface. So let us discuss one by one. First, in case metal undergoes corrosion in presence of oxygen, and there would be the formation of the stable metal oxide layer. This is the metal oxide formed due to the corrosion, and this oxide layer is stable. So now what would happen? Actually, this stable metal oxide layer covers the metal surface, and now this metal cannot comes into contact with the another oxygen molecules. So actually this stable layer of metal oxide prevents the metal surface by further attack of the oxygen. So one time corrosion takes place and the stable oxide layer is formed, but after the formation of the stable metal oxide layer, further no corrosion takes place, because this stable oxide layer covers and protects the metal surface from further corrosion. So further no corrosion takes place. Stable oxide layer is formed in case of aluminium, tin, lead, copper and the platinum. So further next extent of corrosion is very less in this type of the metal. Now consider second case in which unstable metal oxide layer is formed. What is the meaning of the unstable word here? Unstable means when metal reacted with the oxygen and formed the metallic oxide. At the same rate, the metal oxide decomposes to convert into metal and the oxygen. So the layer of the metal oxide, this layer is unstable, and this unstable layer further decomposes again to metal and the oxygen. So this instability prevents the metal from the further corrosion, because first time when metal reacted with the oxygen, there is the metallic oxide layer formation, but soon after this oxide layer decomposes and metal is again free and oxygen is released. Further, this again converted into metal oxide, and this metal oxide again converted into metal and oxygen. So the process is reversible and process carry on, but metal does not corrode. So this is the example of the silver, gold and the platinum. Please correct it. Platinum is from the unstable layer, not the stable layer. Now, third is the volatile film. What happened if the metal oxide layer is volatile in nature? In such case, metal corrosion takes place at the faster rate and the complete metal corroded. Why it happens? Because when metal reacted with the oxygen, formation of the metal oxide layer takes place. This layer is the volatile layer, volatile in nature. So as the metal oxide formed, the metal oxide layer evaporated and next metal surface layer is free for the further attack of the oxygen. So metal layer continuously degraded and the complete metal corroded. For example, molybdenum. Molybdenum in presence of oxygen undergoes faster corrosion because of the formation of the volatile oxide layer. Now, next case is the porous film. What is the meaning of the porous film here? Porous film means the non-uniform oxide layer at the metal surface. That means at some places there is the formation of the oxide, some places oxide is not formed. So the layer is porous. Oxide layer is the porous layer. In such cases, the further attack of oxygen through pores or cracks continues till the complete metallic layer get corroded. So in this way, the slowly the complete metal corroded through these pores. So this is the very good example of the porous film, in which lithium, sodium, magnesium are the good example. Now, one thing it is very clear to all of us now, that in case of oxidation corrosion, corrosion of metal is highly depends upon the nature of the metal oxide layer. So to rationalize this, the Pilling-Bedworth gave the rule which is known as the Pilling-Bedworth rule. According to this rule, further corrosion of metal in presence of oxygen depends upon the Pilling-Bedworth ratio. Now, what is this Pilling-Bedworth ratio? Pilling-Bedworth ratio is the volume of the metal oxide formed to the volume of the metal surface. Clear? So if the PB ratio is less than 1, less than 1 means volume of metal oxide is less than the total metal surface. So the layer of oxide formed is the porous layer, and since it is the porous layer, so it will be the non-protective layer because it does not cover the whole metal completely. Therefore, it will be the non-protective layer. Hence, further corrosion takes place at the faster rate. While if PB ratio is greater than 1 means volume of metal oxide is higher than the total metal surface. That means it covers the whole metal surface. So it is the non-porous layer, and since it covers the whole metal surface, so it is the protective layer. So further corrosion does not takes place. So according to Pilling-Bedworth rule, the corrosion in presence of oxygen depends upon the Pilling-Bedworth ratio. If Pb ratio is less than 1, then the oxide layer is the non-protective layer because it is the porous layer, and further corrosion takes place at the faster rate. While if Pb ratio is greater than 1, then the oxide layer is the protective layer because in such case it will be the non-porous layer. If it is the non-porous, then it will be the protective layer, hence further corrosion does not takes place. So this is the very important rule for the oxidation corrosion. Now second type of corrosion is the corrosion by other gases. Must remember, we are discussing the chemical attack theory or the dry corrosion. The dry corrosion is the corrosion in absence of moisture. In absence of moisture, corrosion is mainly occurs due to the three types of reagent. First is the oxygen, second is other gases, and third is the liquid metal. So in presence of oxygen, we have already discussed in the oxidation corrosion. Second one is the corrosion by other gases. In such cases, corrosion of metal depends upon the nature of the film formed and the chemical affinity between the metal and the gases. For example, silver and tin both shows the chemical affinity towards the chlorine. Tin also react with the chlorine and silver also reacts with the chlorine. So both the metal undergoes in the corrosion in presence of chlorine. But further corrosion depends upon the nature of the film formed. In case of silver, layer is formed non-porous layer, while in case of tin, volatile stannous chloride is formed. Therefore, the tin metal get completely corroded. Similarly, iron, besides the oxygen, also corroded in presence of H2S because it shows the chemical affinity towards the H2S. So, in presence of H2S, the iron sulfide layer is formed onto the iron metal surface, and the formed layer is the porous layer. Since it is the porous layer, so it is the non-protective layer, and complete iron metal get corroded in presence of the H2S. So basically what we have concluded here, corrosion in presence of other gases other than oxygen, other gases depends upon the two things. First is the chemical reactivity of the gas and the metal. Second, nature of the film formed. If the metal is chemically reactive towards any gas, then it may corroded in presence of that gas. But further corrosion depends upon the nature of the corrosion product formed. Now, next type of corrosion is the liquid metal corrosion. This type of corrosion occurs due to the action of flowing liquid metal at high temperature onto the solid metal. That means in such cases, one solid metal is in contact with the liquid metal at high temperature, and in presence of this liquid metal, corrosion of this solid metal takes place. This is the example of the liquid metal corrosion. In such cases, the extent of corrosion depends upon two things. First is the dissolution of solid metal by the liquid metal. This is the solid metal, this is the liquid metal. So first is the dissolution of solid metal by liquid metal. Second is the internal penetration of the liquid metal into the solid metal. This. So in such cases, if these things are happen, then solid metal get corroded in presence of this liquid metal. The best example of the liquid metal corrosion is observed in nuclear reactors where sodium metal used as a coolant leads to corrosion of the cadmium. This is the very good example of the liquid metal corrosion. Cadmium, the carrier tubes in which liquid sodium is carried out is made up of the cadmium. So in presence of liquid sodium, cadmium pipes may get corroded. This is the best example of the liquid metal corrosion. So that's all for the today's class. Today what we have discussed, just the revised ones. We have started with the unit 3rd corrosion, deals with the definition of the corrosion and the introductory part. Then disadvantages of corrosion, theories of corrosion, in which we have covered 2 theories in today's lecture, acid attack theory and the chemical attack theory. According to acid attack theory, acidic oxide gases in presence of moisture forms acids, and these acids are considered as the main cause of the corrosion. While in the chemical attack theory, corrosion in absence of moisture is explained. That's why it is called dry corrosion. In absence of moisture, corrosion happens due to the direct attack of oxygen, other gases and some liquid metal. So this dry corrosion may be of 3 types: oxidation corrosion, corrosion by other gases and the liquid metal corrosion. That's all we have learned in the today's class. Now time for the learning check. If silver and tin are in the chlorine environment, which metal corrode faster and why? Think for this question and we will discuss its answer in our live class on Tuesday. Okay? Till then, take good care of yourself and keep enjoy e-learning at home. Thank you.